Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Monday, and today we're looking at an album by Maynard Ferguson, and this was from the Columbia years. Now, when he signed on with Columbia, he kind of changed up the way he'd been playing. We're into a different style of music now. I think of M.F. Horn, one of the early Columbia albums, incorporating songs like MacArthur Park. I mean, it turned out to be a big hit for him. The album Maynard Ferguson, we had Fire and Rain, Move Over, Janis Joplin, we've got Blood, Sweat and Tears, we've got James Taylor, we're Jethro Tull on that album, incorporating a lot of rock style music in with what he was doing with the big band. And out of the M.F. Horn series, he did 5 albums, well actually 4. The one we're going to talk about today is M.F. Horn 4 and 5, which I think is probably one of his best albums of the early Columbia years. And it was an album called Live at Jimmy's, M.F. Horn 4 and 5, live recording. Now, before I've talked about, if you've never listened to some of these players before, live recordings are greatest hits. This one is a very, very special live recording. Done at Jimmy's Jazz Club on 52nd Street in New York. A noon-hour concert. They just put it together. A couple of executives have been out, heard him play a couple of nights before, wanted to record him. They couldn't get set it up. They squeezed it in for a noon hour. The band came back to New York to record this. One take, no overdubs, no second chances. I mean, this was the band, like if you were sitting in the audience and hearing it. And this album came out just about the time I had seen Maynard's band live for the first time in Toronto. And really, it is such a powerful thing to sit there and hear this band, and to hear them on here, it's just like being there. It's a great production. Tio Macero's producer on this, and he did some great albums. And again, you're hearing it just as it is. I think later on, if you're thinking the ones like Carnival or the other one Bob James produced, there was a lot of overdubs. There was a lot of stuff with studio musicians. There was a lot of things that really weren't representative. When you listen to this is what you heard when you went to a concert. And when I went to see Maynard a number of times in the mid-'70s, and it was always excellent, and this was a great representation of it. So if you get a chance to check it out. Okay, Live at Jimmy's. Came out in 1974. I think they recorded it in 1973. 74 was when I had first seen him. Let's take a look at some of the players. We got guys, trumpet section, Lim Biviano, John DeFlon, Bob Summers, and Danny Kahn. Now, Lim Biviano and John DeFlon, I have them both on records with Buddy Rich as well. Now, by the time I saw the band, they were both gone. We had Stan Mark and Lynn Nicholson were in the trumpet section. Bob Summers was still there. And Bob Summers is a name you may recognize because in the turn of the century here, back in the early 2000s, he was a member of Gordon Goodwin's Big Fat Band. So he was still out there playing. Trombones, we had Randy Purcell and Graham Ellis. Saxophones, Andy McIntosh from Maynard's English band was still playing here. We got Ferdinand Pavel on tenor sax and the great Bruce Johnston on tenor sax and flute. And I'll tell you, there's some great Bruce Johnston solos on here. I mean, he was really stood out in the band. I remember that was the year after this came out that he actually made it to the Downbeat Readers Poll and that. And I mean, he was well worth checking out. He's a great player. Drums, Randy Jones. Bass, Rick Patrone. Electric piano, Pete Jackson. Now, by the time I saw them, Pete was gone. It was Alan Zavod was playing piano for him then. This is right ahead of the Chameleon album. And I think those two are probably some of the best recordings that he did during this period. Anyways, let's take a look at the songs that are on this. We've got a little bit of what he was currently doing as well as some old throwbacks. Tio Nova, brand new song written in tribute to Tio Macero. We got MacArthur Park, again from M.F. Horn 1, and this was a classic. This one, it doesn't tell you who's playing individual solos on this. I thought it was Maynard playing all the Maynard high licks in MacArthur Park, but when I saw them live, Lynn Nicholson was covering a lot of that, so I don't know if one of these other trumpet players were helping him out as well. We've got the Left Bank Express, the classic I'm Getting Sentimental Over You, another original to for Otis. We got a song here called Stay Loose with Bruce, Ernie Wilkins. And on here it's featuring Bruce Johnson, but it had appeared on a previous album called CCMF, and it was called Morgan's Organ, a feature for saxophonist Lanny Morgan. So they recycled it, changed the title, different feature. There you go. That's how we end up with Stay Loose with Bruce. We've got Nice and Juicy from MF Horn 3. Great song. Fox Hunt from a little earlier back. I can't remember the name of the album, but I know it was an earlier tune he had in there. Got the spirit, and he wraps up with Bluebird Land. It's just a great album to catch the spirit and the excitement of the live band. And Tio's production, it sounds great. It stands up really well now, listening to it even on disc. It's excellent sound quality, excellent band performances, some great solos in there. And again, this was a one-shot deal. No chance going back like on so many albums and let's fix this or fix that, or, you know, maybe we'll dub something else in. No chance, man. It's straight up. What you see is what you get. Maynard Ferguson, MF Horn 4 and 5, live at Jimmy's. Check it out. That's it for Monday. See you on Wednesday when I've got a very special and unusual Beatles album. Very limited release on one of the albums, only in Canada. We'll find out about that a little later, so we'll see you on Wednesday. Till then, everybody take care, stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.